Hi, hello, how are you? Today is July 16, 2022. It's a Saturday where I am and 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So, how's your Saturday? How are you doing wherever you are in the world? Let's talk about camping safety tips. Let's discuss some camping safety tips. By the way, I'm Jason, your host for this small YouTube channel, Hagbayon Channel. I am an educator, entrepreneur. I'm also into literature. Hi there, manahinu pa. I'm also into literature, rock music, blade culture, the outdoors, prepping, survivalism as a useful hobby, and philosophy. Um, this channel, Hagbayon, is devoted to current events, literature, of course. Uh, Here lang po ito, palabas ako. Literature, rock music, of course, blade culture, topics that I am interested in. At least we have YouTube where we can talk about our interests and where we can share our ideas and our thoughts. Right, going back, let's talk about some camping safety tips for everyone. If you have something to add, you may also post down the comment section below. If you're also a camper, an outdoorsman, and perhaps you are more experienced than I am, and you might want to visit. Uh, you might want to share some insights as well. And so we can visit your channel. You might want to also comment down below something about your YouTube channel. Right. Talking about camping safety, there was an incident last night, July 15, Friday last night, which we can use as a kind of a case in point. So, a case in point where we can actually say that indeed we must appraise ourselves with camping safety. Case in point is the Marinduque camping incident. So it's a case of robbery with homicide and rape. It happened at Boac, Marinduque, particularly Barangay Ihatub. Barangay Ihatub. Actually, a really nice place, actually a tourist destination there at Marinduque. So the incident happened July 15, Friday, so yesterday. Reportedly, a 21-year-old male, along with his 17-year-old girlfriend, they went camping. They went camping, the two of them. The guy is 21 years old. The girl is 17 years old. So technically, the girl is a minor. So they went camping at Boac Marinduque, particularly Barangay Ihatub. And it was supposed to be a peaceful, and serene and romantic and adventurous or episode for the two of them. But at around 1:30 p.m., a man, or the suspect, went inside their tent, or the suspect breached their tent, and all of a sudden stabbed the boyfriend, stabbed the man. And even in shock, the female or the girlfriend tried to escape, and the suspect chased the female or the girlfriend. Um, he was able to catch up with her, though, and he forced her to undress, then wounded her neck, then raped her. Perhaps in the stupor, perhaps in the struggle, or perhaps intentionally, uh, the the suspect wounded the neck of the victim so as to scare her, no, to scare her. And then he later, after raping her, he later took away the couple's cell phones and other valuables. So that's it. That's the Marinduque camping incident, which actually just happened yesterday, July 15, Friday. Today is July 16, Saturday. It's a case of robbery with homicide and rape. The authorities are now on a manhunt to, you know, properly accost and arrest the suspect and place him in the custody of the law and the court. Incidentally, crimes have been, steadily rising in uh, frequency recently. Uh, Frequent crimes, happening, or crimes are getting frequent here in the Philippines, even where I am here in the province. So, what could be the reason for that? Um, in a place where there's this place where I usually ride my motorcycle, and in that place, a young girl, a minor, was also murdered by her own cousin, and it's not really clear if there was, lewd design on the part of the suspect. But then that's what happened. The young girl was just out to harvest some fruits, and she even carried a bolo. But unfortunately, the bolo was used on her instead. So there, crimes are a bit more frequent recently here where I am. Um, well, in the light of the death of Shinzo Abe. All right. Some camping safety tips that we can actually share during this live stream. By the way, this LS will be uploaded anyway, so you might catch this after I'm done. Um, let's talk about some ideas to make our camping expedition more safe. Well, one important tip is for us to camp. One important tip is for us to camp in safe places like resorts and other regular campsites. Speaking of resorts, shout out to Hinupa Channel. Hinupa is a really nice resort here in the Philippines, Southern Luzon, Camarines Sur, at the shoulders of the majestic Mount Isarog. So just check their Facebook page. You you can enjoy. If you go there, you will enjoy the sights of nature, the free flowing water from the stream, and because the water there is actually from a stream, so it's natural, and more or less clean because Actually, early in the morning, you can drink the water. Okay. Well, if you going back, if you camp in said areas, resorts, or regular camping grounds, the places are usually guarded and walled off. Hence, pretty much more or less you'll be safe. Although it's not a 100%, assurance that no incident will ever take place. When there is mens rea or criminal mind or criminal intent, nothing can really stop that criminal to be from proceeding with the commission of the crime, except himself. You know, if he desist from committing the same. But if there's actually no reason for him to desist, he will proceed with the crime. That's how it is. Even if you actually camp in a resort or in a regular camping ground. But then again, more or less, you'll be more safe in said places rather than in public places like what happened here in Marinduque. The couple apparently did not avail of the camping grounds nearby. There are actually resorts nearby because, as we said, Barangay Ihatub is a really nice beachfront, a really nice place near the beach, and it's actually technically a tourist destination. So, and people of Marinduque, they are generally kind, and this is actually a shocking incident even for those who are from the area. So, shout out to the people of Marinduque. May you be able to solve this case, especially the, the authorities there, PNP Marinduque, because this is, you know, something that will be bad for Marinduque as well, even if in general the place is known for being peaceful and with low crime rate. Right. Okay. Camping in resorts. Another, safety idea is for for the campers. Usually, campers are outdoors people, outdoorsmen, hikers and mountaineers, bushcrafters. So they carry with them an EDC item. Aside from other tools, they carry knives. So it's better to have a tool that can transform into a self-defense item like a knife. And better yet, try to learn Filipino martial arts and the proper use of bladed items in self-defense. So there, EDC. Actually, if EDC means everyday carry, as I already mentioned here, and if you check other videos on the topic, and it pertains not only to knives but to other tools, other stuff being carried as a kind of a life tool, something that is very important in various emergencies and contingencies. Right. What more? Aside from camping in resorts, regular campsites, bringing some sort of EDC, it's also beneficial to camp in groups or with other people or near other campers. Although it might not be, as quiet as it is supposed to be. But then, for safety reasons, um, we are more or less safer if you are with a group of friends or with other campers. Although again, this is not 100% foolproof. You can still, experience, issues when you camp with other people. Noise, perhaps, pollution, perhaps, and other types of pollution, garbage, and some other, obnoxious people. But then, more or less, you'll be safer. Okay. Aside from camping in resorts, carrying an EDC, and camping in groups, why not try stealth camping? Stealth camping. So, what is stealth camping? We already talked about that last time. Stealth camping, you camp somewhere secluded and away from roads and trails. In the case of what happened last night in Marinduque, looking at the crime scene, apparently the couple camped uh, in a public place near the beach, by the beach, but in a public place. And in fact, the camping ground that they chose was pavement, or it looked like a road of some sort. Yeah, so it could be one factor why they were easily cited by the suspect who had criminal intent. So there, stealth camping, stealth, stealth like the airplane, stealth airplane, aircraft. So it's camping in a secluded place away from roads and trails. So people won't see you, so you'll be invisible. So that's one thing. How do you camp stealthily? Sec- Camp in a secluded area away from the road or trails. And better if the camping ground is your own property. Otherwise, well, if it's stealth camping or wild camping, that's the idea of wild camping. It's better if you camp in public domain, natural parks, etc. And you really have to be sort of invisible. So don't cut the weeds around it. Don't cut the branches of the low trees or shorter trees. And have some sort of light and sound discipline. Meaning to say, um, try not to use your light so much, or if it's already dark or nighttime, do not maintain a campfire anymore. Turn it off, or better yet, if you can, just use a flashlight. And to repel mosquitoes, just use insect repellent if ever. Because it is really advisable to have light discipline. So you won't be so visible. You won't be so visible. You see, if you maintain a campfire, you will be visible even from people that are far away. And of course, sound discipline. And try to be quiet as much as possible, so you won't call attention to yourself or to yourselves. So there, and always be alert when you are stealth camping. Always be alert and maintain situational awareness. Listen to the sounds around you, but don't let it get into your head so much that you'll be imagining things. So just listen to sounds that are more or less, just be aware of sounds that could be sounds that are created by people, and people with bad intentions. So be situationally aware, be alert, and always have your stuff ready, or your bag, in case you actually need to bail out anytime. So those are some of the tips that I can share. If you are a more experienced camper, mountaineer, you might want to share your insights as well. Some people, they notify the tourism office of the town or the city. Some people, they notify the barangay for the purpose. That's also a good idea. But it's case by case basis. If you wanna do stealth camping or wild camping, the idea is not to notify anyone except a few people who must know where you are going. Some family members or friends, and who must know where you're going, and who must know your schedule, when you are expected to be home. So they will sound the alarm if in case you're not yet home at a particular time. Now the question is, what are some of my experiences in camping? I posted, I think, one or two videos already, but I've done so many camping episodes, camping expeditions, but I actually have not posted some of them. But what are some of my experiences? Well, one time I camped at Mount Aso, the shoulders of Mount Aso. As I was trying to, I was actually supposed to be with another person, a friend of mine who's also into outdoors, but he did not show up due to some contingency. And as I was uh, setting up camp, I noticed that there's some men, there were some men who came from their farms. Perhaps they had bolos with them and all that. They stopped by very near the area where I was setting camp, and they were looking at me and all that. So I decided to abort the mission, and what I hiked and looked for another spot because the spot was already compromised, no longer safe because people know about it already. I was solo camping, so it's better to be invisible, to do it stealthily if you are solo camping. So I transferred to another location. So there, that's what happened. Here lang po. Gracelda Alfaro for second thumbs down po here, Sir Host. Alright, thank you, and I hope I can visit your channels soon. Okay, that's Mount Asog experience. And also, recently I did a wild camping. Uh, yes, and also was our host. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. At one of our farms, and the farm is actually upland, al- up the hills, and very, you know, forested, densely forested. So I did stealth camping. I did my stealth camping there, and I chose a secluded area away from the roads and the trails. And I observed all the light discipline and sound discipline. I was very, very quiet. I did not make any sound. And I did talk for the purpose of vlogging. So that's what I did. And I actually, what, did not, I had a campfire, but I sort of killed the fire when uh, uh, dusk was approaching. So that's what I did. I threw water on the fire to, extinguish it. So it was all dark. It was also beneficial for me because we do it that way because that way we'll be able to help our eyes adjust to the dark. If you have light and the dark takes over you, you turn off the light. It will take some time before your eyes actually gets accustomed to the dark. So it's better if uh, you turn off the lights early on. And to avoid mosquito infestation, I only entered the tent when I was really going to sleep. So I ate inside. Well, for some people, that's not advisable because if you keep food inside your tent, some animals might smell it and might come near you, especially that if the place has wild animals like wild boar and other wild animals. It was a successful wild camping, but it was our property. So beneficial, better if it's your own property. And also in one of our farms, we camped near the road or by the road, but we camped as a group. So I had companions and I wasn't alone. We were car camping. Some of us were inside the car, and some of us occupied the two tents, and some of us occupied the cabin, which was left open the entire night. So it was a successful, ex- expedition because, well, even if it was near the road, we were relatively safe because we had ourselves and no one would mess with us. That was at one of our farms, and that farm is quite lucky because there is an access road going through it. So there, those are some of my experiences. One time I camped at Calagwas group of islands with some friends. It was successful. Uh, we camped near the sea or by the sea, by white sand. Only that nice content ito. Thank you po. Well, only that we weren't allowed to set up campfire because it would ruin the white sand of that particular beach. By the way, shout out to my compare, the ninong of my son, lawyer to be, and writer and painter and DJ Giovanni Buen. Uh, he owns a resort at uh, Calaguas group of islands. Calaguas is at Camarines Norte, also here in southern Luzon, the Philippines. And the name of the resort is Kagedama. So, Kagedama. If you can visit Calaguas, check Kagedama Agri, Agri, Agricultural Agri Resort or something. Agri Beach Resort because it's also a farm. Thanks for sharing it, the experience about your camping. Thank you po, no problem. You may also share your experiences here. And it was a fun experience. We had a priest with us. Shout out to Father Philip Bersabe. Father Philip was with us, and next thing we knew, he was already reciting the rosary or praying the rosary along with some kids. Once a priest, always a priest, even in vacation. So, even during vacation. So there, it was a successful camping as well. And we did that so many times right there at Calaguas. The question now is why do people like to camp? Why camp? Why get out of your comfort zone and actually go out there and camp when you can stay at a hotel, comfortable, etc. Well, some people camp because they are into bushcraft. Bushcraft is jungle survival, you know, living off the land, living off grid. Some people are into it. And it's really beneficial. It's a beneficial skill and mindset, hobby. So they do wild camping as they do bushcraft. What else? People camp because of nature, the beauty of nature, immersing with nature, and finding solitude and having the opportunity to rest one's body, mind, spirit, along with the nature, and actually do meditation, things like that, or be with friends and talk about interesting topics away from the city, away from the concerns of the civilization, the concerns of the legal tender or money or any other problems that's actually causing us to get stressed out and depositing toxin in our bodies. Right. Uh, Why camp? Also for adventure. Some people who camp, they're actually mountaineers and hikers. Um, they walk long distances, and they when they find a camping ground, they camp there and they sleep there. Of course, observing safety protocols. So adventure. Some people, they really have to camp because when they do mountaineering, when they are up there in the mountains, they can't just go back to the hotel or something, unless you are day hiking, where just when you just go back to the hotel or go back to the to the cabin or something like that. So informative yung binabahagi yung mga safety tips about camping. Okay po. Thank you. Also, why camp? People camp because it maybe it's part of their work. For example, you farm. When you are doing your copras already, when you are um, uh, processing the copra, you have to stay overnight. You camp. You camp in the farm. For example, you are a field researcher. I've done that, by the way. I forgot to mention. During a field research in Iriga City, along with the literature department of Ateneo. No, it's not literature. It's literature and language studies department of the Ateneo de Naga University. We were given a grant, you know, by the U.S. It was a U.S. government grant, I guess, and we were to research on the supernatural beliefs and the healing practices of the indigenous peoples at Barangay La Anunciacion or La Anunciacion, Iriga City. So we had to camp for, I think it was 2 or 3 nights. Take share ko muna ito sa GCSKF. Teka, salamat po. So there, it was fun because we were really immersed with the culture, because we had to stay there and eat what the indigenous peoples were eating, and during gatherings at night, we could stay with them and converse with them and learn more about their culture or record more of their testimonies on the supernatural. I was then with our department chair, the then department chair of the Literature and Language Studies Department of the Ateneo, Dr. Cyril Conde. Shout out to Dr. Cyril Conde. Also my kumpare, the ninong of my son. Okay. Why camp? Maybe it's part of your work. Also, you might want to camp because it's a shit hits the fan survival skill. During wars, for example, there's a war and you have to leave your house. You have to leave your homes, and uh, go to a safer place. While in transit, you might need to do some camping. That's it. Shit hits the fan. For example, there's this zombie apocalypse. Yeah, it's possible. You have to have an open mind. Some sort of a doomsday scenario. Okay, and what will happen is we'll try to bug out, and while bugging out, you might need to camp and subsist, subsist uh, by availing of what the forest could offer. So you'll be living off grid, living off the land. Incidentally, yep, there was an interruption, internet interruption. I was saying, while we are at it, why not try car camping as well? Because during, as we said, shit hits the fan situation, survival situation, you might need to bring your car and your supplies, and you might need to do a car camp. Car camping. It's camping with your car, Maybe you will sleep inside your car, or maybe you will set up a tent just beside your vehicle or attached to your vehicle. So that's one thing. We did that already in one of our farms early this year, car camping. And also moto camping. You have your motorcycle and you have your camping equipment with you, your backpack, and you find a camping ground that's safe, secluded, and you set up camp over there. Or bike packing. You have your mountain bike. Again, you have your backpack and your tent. So you ride your mountain bike or your road bike, and then when it's getting dark, you set up camp where it is relatively safe. So okay, those are some of the camping safety tips that we can talk about for this episode. Thanks for joining me, Madam Inupa channel. We have Griselda, Manay Griselda Alfaro. Apparently, this is your fourth account because this is Griselda Alfaro 4 that you're using. And you, thanks for the wonderful comments. Um, there, Jason here for the Hagbayon Channel and TMS Talks. Remember, the pen is mightier with a sword and with a safe camping site. Thanks for watching.